Welcome, everyone. This is another massive final table. Some of the biggest names in the game. This is season 2, episode 46. I'm Jeff Gross, joined by the man, the myth, Johnnie Vibes in the building, taking off the day from the World Series of Poker. He is joined and going to be calling this high stakes, high powered final table. Johnnie, how are you?
Let's go, Jeff. Happy to be here. Happy to be joining you for this first time commenting on one of these, and definitely excited to not only watch, but maybe learn a couple things because, as you know, these things are loaded with wizards. So be a good opportunity to get some insight.
Yes, absolutely. This is a very special final table. We're going to go dive right into the action. I'll give you guys some intros on the players and a lot of familiar faces here. So let's kick it over to the feature and only table. It's the feature final table. This is the Super Millions, right into it. Some big names that jump out. I don't know if any of these guys ring a bell with you, particularly Johnnie Vibes. Maybe you've played with a few of them. I mean, Bruno Volkmann, he is a absolute crusher who looks like with a nice chip lead to start. Look at that. I mean, fresh off of GGPoker alone. Anytime you can go to one series and you have 2.5+ million earnings, 8 million over on GG. So this guy gets it done. Are you familiar with Bruno, Johnnie?
No, I don't believe so. But whenever I see the Brazilian flag, it's like something that I'm definitely worried about because I know that they're going to be on some level pretty wild and usually really good.
Yeah, this is definitely would say that the hottest, the most crusher of the Brazil crew lately. He just seems to be doing it live online. I've seen him so many times at these Super Millions final tables, and actually was at the Triton High Roller final table, the 100K main event, and in a good position there. So definitely a very, very strong player. And we see him with tens and a winning hand. Going to check back here to get us kicked off. And Simon Matson, also one of the biggest names in poker and crusher online. He's got himself a second place stack at the moment. If this name may ring a bell, he is one of the more accomplished players online. And of course, Nicholas Osted of Lena 900 goes by on some other site monikers, also has a ridiculous resume. You can see this is Ike Haxton. We haven't got to Ike Haxton, Johnnie. I mean, you know, Ike, he's been around forever, one of the legends of the game. And again, $15 million on GGPoker alone. Pretty special stuff there.
That is wild.
That is wild. That is wild. And also wild is flopping a set at a final table. He's done that with the Jack 7-4 Rainbow. So, not like too much trouble these players may get in here against this stack, but on this particular flop, it's a little interesting that Zoo didn't maybe re-raise, right? Did he just complete?
Yeah. I mean, Bruno obviously has a strong range opening from under the gun, and ace queen, I'm sure that this guy knows his frequencies really well and decided to make the flat here.
Yeah, he decides to take the lower variance line, and in some respects, I mean, good news for him, right? Because if he had raised, or gone all in, I think nines he would have heard from. And as it turns out, he's still losing to nines, at least at this turn card that we see here. But as Ike has got a really nice position here, bottom set on a flop that, he could definitely get some value here. He sees Bruno sort of wave the white flag and slow down, but Ike obviously loving his hand on a Jack 7-4 king with the set.
Yeah, no reason not to bet here, in my opinion. The king figures to be actually a decent card for Bruno's check calling flop range, so I would expect to get some value some of the time here by betting my set here on the turn.
Yeah, really interesting sizing. The board does get a bit dynamic with the backdoor flush draw coming. There's some straight draws, but really small sizing from Ike. He does take it down, and a nice fold from Bruno. Not going to put any more chips in the pot. I mean, if we look at over to the left there, directly to Bruno is Artur, who is also been one of the crushers lately, just having an unbelievable run online and live. And again, his resume is super, super impressive. And of course, to the left there, Wiktor Malinowski, who took down one of these GG Super Millions just weeks ago. So we are, this is the who's who that we got today, Johnnie. And we are getting a nice study session today. So we're going to get to see some of the game's biggest, brightest stars show us their tricks.
Malinowski, what was his screen name? Limitless, right?
Yes.
Yeah, he's known as Limitless. And he was known for as high stakes cash game player. He came onto my radar when I saw him on a podcast, I believe, with Joey, where he was like saying that he's going to be drinking wine and he could play anyone heads up. So seems like quite the character. I've seen him on some cash game live streams, and definitely a fun watch.
Yeah, no, he's got game. He is a very impressive player, and he shows that he can play high stakes cash games and tournaments. So get to see what he's up to. A little bit of a short stack, got the work cut out for him. Definitely can get it done. And you see Mark Radoja over there, kind of didn't get to mention his name yet. He is a two-time World Series of Poker bracelet winner and one of the stronger players hailing from Canada. Looks like he's rocking a Mexico flag at the moment, but he is very, very talented and has a special place in my heart, Johnny, because he beat me heads up for a World Series bracelet in 2011. So I always,
ouch.
He stands out. Yeah.
Was that your only shot where you were heads up, or do you have a bracelet?
I don't have a bracelet. I have a couple of, I think I have 7 final tables, second, and basically every place but first. That's a hard one to get though. So still waiting on that.
And you're so busy nowadays. You're not even in Vegas right now for the World Series of Poker. What's going on with that?
Yeah. And, it's one of those compromises. I know your significant other, probably you put a lot of time and a lot of traveling, a lot of work into your game and craft. And just one of those things where Vegas, I have a 3-year-old and sort of told my wife that this is going to be some summertime. We're going to get to relax a little bit. So kind of staying over in Europe, at least for right now. I couldn't resist. So I did go over for a few days and played a couple events. So.
Yeah, and I did see that obviously you got officially signed to be an ambassador with GG. Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, right. Love being here. Love doing the weekly show, and obviously a great brand, great, I'm going to say great things, but that's how I feel. I wouldn't go with them if I didn't, and definitely excited to be a part of the team here.
I trust that you're going to be out here for the main event.
So I'm not. I have a wedding. One of my very close friends is getting married, and he decided July 7 to 11 was a good date. So I was like, almost no way to miss it, because there's so many starting days that you could go to a wedding and make it back. But that actually was one of the only exactly imperfect times. So not going to be able to play this year, unfortunately. But
interesting spot there. Cutoff raised with the king queen off, and Marco in the big blind with ace deuce off. I think sometimes with a short stack can jam there, but I'm looking around the table and he definitely is the shortest stack. So obviously you don't have much fold equity with the ace deuce, but your ace deuce does figure to be ahead some percentage of the time.
Yeah, and also risk premium. If you're the shortest and you go out, you're not really risking much. That's a term that basically shows that it's important to know where you're at. If you're in 4th or 5th place, you don't want to go out 9-handed and collide. So he's definitely couldn't blame him if he did shove, but he makes a fold. And
yeah, definitely.
There's some other spot. Yeah, can't blame him for folding there. We got to do a draft here. We got to play for something, Johnny. I just realized we got hands going. You're getting to get acclimated to the table, but let's do a little bit of let's do a draft. Let's pick some players. It's red or black. Who gets to go first? You can choose the color first.
Okay, I'll go black on this next flop.
Okay, we might get to see it right here. It looks like 7-8 off, barely deep stacks here, and Ike's wheels are spinning, but we do go. Okay, nice start.
We do get the first pick. Hey, and I'm going with my first pick. You should definitely go with someone that has a lot of chips. Just because that's how the odds break down, and I'm a stats guy, so we're gonna go with Bruno. He's obviously opening it up with the 10-9 off here, not afraid to play pots. So he's my first pick.
Okay, good choice. So I think I get 2, right? We're doing snake draft. We're going
sure,
1, 2, 2. Okay, so I'll take Simon, very strong player, very nice stack as well. Kind of easy pick for me with 2.1, and then I'll go with man, it's kind of tough here. I kind of want to see. Am I allowed to see how this pot plays out or not? Is that?
Let's go. We got you.
All right. It's hard to bet against. All right. I'm going to take. Damn, this is a tough spot, actually. I'm going to take Artur just because of his seat. He's directly on Bruno's left, and he's got a lot of experience and a great player. So that's a tough call for me, but I'm going to go with Artur there.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that pick because if, chips tend to rotate to the left, and if Bruno has any issues, Artur, that's his name, is probably going to be the one. Oh, and look at this, right on cue. Ace 10 suited versus pocket kings. And we got some hands behind as well.
And ace queen. Yeah, this is firework. Is this going to be a way where Ike gets out of the way here somehow? I mean, Mark as well has a tough decision, but it's raise and a 3-bet. So these are always fun to watch, right? Because these are spots where I'm like, man, what do I don't know for sure. And then you kind of see how these guys maneuver. And look at
Wow,
that snap fold.
Mark and Ike
Snap.
with the folds. These guys are such wizards. All right, so I'm gonna I get two picks now, right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Ike, and then obviously he's capable of folding pocket tens right there. And Mark, obviously Mark is Jeff Gross's kryptonite, so we're gonna go with Mark because not only can he fold ace queen, he knows how to beat Jeff Gross.
I love it. Well, listen, great. And I'm even more excited because you left Nicholas Ostad with more chips, who is maybe regarded as like the current best player online in the world. So that's a steal. I'm going to be happy with that. And then I get one more, right?
Yep.
At 2-2. So I'll take Wiktor Malinowski, who actually came back, I believe, as one of the short stacks and won one of these not too long ago. So there's my next two.
Okay. And then does that leave us with two left?
Yeah, I think there's two. I think it goes. How many do you have now? I've got, we should probably write this down, but
this is a pretty interesting turn card here. We got a ace on the turn after Arthur flops a set.
Yeah, there's no way to fold here, and at least at the moment. And this is man, chips are shifting. This is all going according to plan. What are we betting? We didn't even say we're betting. At least the dinner. I guess that's another thing, man. It's looking a little dicey for you all of a sudden. What do you want to bet, Johnny? You tell me. We can do a dinner for sure.
Okay.
And then,
yeah. How about when we do a double date next time with my wife and your wife? The loser pays for dinner here.
Okay. All right. It's going to be a nice place. So we'll leave it at that. That'll be a nice tab. So let's see if Bruno just doesn't think Bruno, that long.
These guys are just so good.
They're tough. They're very, very tough. And I think everyone got the chess clock. Maybe I want to say, was it just 8 or 9 minutes, or what do they start at? 9.5 maybe, or 10? I'm sorry. Usually it's 15, but maybe they've adjusted that down to a 10-minute clock. Each player has that time to make decisions. If you were to run out of time, you get 5 seconds per street each time. That's like what you're subject to if you do run out. We have seen it once happen where a player had no shot clock left, and it definitely gets a bit tricky, especially if you're playing heads up. So this is that's something to note. And also want to welcome everyone in. Please let us know where you're watching from. Hit that thumbs up. It helps a lot. We appreciate you. And Johnny Vibes, I'm going to give you a shout out. You're a content machine, great vlogs, great content. And where can people follow you? Let's just get out of the way so they know.
Yeah. Originally, I was creating a bunch of content on YouTube, but more recently, I kind of took a break, kind of was feeling a bit like a job. So
right.
1 second.
No worries. I'll call. We got Radoja kicking it up here. Ace Jack off, Queen 4 suited from Simon in the small blind. His wheels are spinning. Could he be up to no good here, or is this going to just get over to the King Jack? Let's see. Definitely has a interesting hand that he could put some pressure on against the stack size with the suited gapper, Queen 4 suited. Look at that. He does go for it. And Mark Radoja, Johnny, we are going to get put into a tough spot here because this is like kind of just.
You're the third shortest at this point. Oh, no, you're not even the third shortest. You're the fourth shortest. This is just like ICM jail right there.
ICM jail. Very well done from Simon. Picks it up. And we are. No one's been eliminated yet. We're seeing some big hands right here collide, but tell me. So you've moved a bit from the YouTube.
Yeah, it was feeling a bit like a job. So I took a little bit of a break, took a 4-month break, and felt re-energized with the World Series of Poker coming up. I wanted to work on my tournament game because I've always been a couch game player. So I put some focus on studying tournaments this year and last year. So I've been on the tournament grind, and also tournaments don't really translate well to YouTube videos. They're harder to make, number one, because the blinds are changing. Stack sizes are always fluid. You know, your seat position, your table stacks, like all this is like so fluid. But cash games are super easy to throw together a video because you always have like a ton of big blinds. You don't have to track stack sizes as much. And it's much more casual. You can leave the table whenever you want. And also tournaments, you're playing for a lot of money, and I wanted to focus, so I haven't been making videos around tournaments. and just been focusing on the playing part of it. And it's paid off. I've had a pretty good year so far. I've cashed for like 200,000 in tournaments for my
Nice.
this year. After like, a 15-year career of only cashing for 100,000 up to that point, basically from not
Right.
playing tournaments. So, but
Very
now that the
nice.
World Series of Poker is here, I got the energy, I got the juice, and I want to start making some videos because it's been fun. And yeah, I feel the energy again, kind of just from being around the World Series and just having all these people in town, and it brings me back to why I started making videos in the first place, just having fun again. So back on the content grind, I've been making Instagram reels every single day, just basically recapping the day. Those have been really fun as well. But yeah,
Nice.
it's been great.
Very cool. Well, we see Radoja get put in a very tough spot. Look at this. Ace queen off, Johnny gets it,
Yeah.
gives it up. And if we actually saw Artur make a really nice fold while we were talking. I don't know if you saw it. He opened ace jack suited, and Marco as one of the short stacks shoved with ace king. And he just,
Yeah.
definitely couldn't blame him if he called with ace jack suited in that spot, but he does find a way to get away. And he is at 2 million sitting in third right now.
Mhm.
So very, very, very impressive play so far. These guys really playing great, and some tough spots for Mark.
Yeah. So I have one more player to take um, to make it 4-4, and then we'll just leave one to the field, I guess. The people that
Yep.
are left are Zhao and Marco Streda, and I don't know anything about either. And I'm think I'm just gonna go. Well, this one's an interesting pod. This is like this. If he gets here with the flush, that'll be huge for him. But I'll go ahead and go with Marco for my last pick, and I guess we'll leave Zhao to the field.
Okay. All right. I'm gonna do a giveaway for the field that was out. We'll give him something spicy to play for. I'll do a $530 giveaway, 530 ticket coming for me if Zhao wins. So you guys got a pony in the race. Last time I did this, the moneymaker, he got carried away, started giving away crazy stuff to the field. Like I thought they were in I think we were heads up and they had a huge sweat, and I think they did win something. We got to go back and clarify on that, because I think he was doing something for his Twitch stream and something else. But yeah, you guys got Zhao 530 going your way. We'll do a giveaway if he can take that down. But right now, if the nuts comes in for your guy, Marco Strada has the nut flush. I'm sorry, not the nuts, but the nut flush, respectively, the nuts. And see what he does here on sizing. Look at this.
Oh, he checks.
Wow.
I think Nicholas has like slightly too much showdown value to bet here, but I mean, he could go for it, putting pressure on Marco. But yeah, definitely a sneaky little check here. Yeah, and he bets full pot. This is just such a nice little trap here by Marco.
Yeah, really well played. Really, really well played, kind of figuring out. I mean, this is why poker is so beautiful, because in these spots, it's really a matter of, are you able to put your opponent on a hand where you think, what do they have? Do they have value? Do they have some check back? Or are they more weighted towards bluff? So it's really important to be able to kind of size up your opponent and also what you think they're capable of. So well played from Marco, getting a lot of value there. Very well done.
Yeah, I'm excited. And since I have been playing tournaments a bit more recently, I just established residency in Mexico. So I'm going to be able to start playing on GGPoker more often, which I'm definitely excited about, because not only is it just fun to play online MTTs, I think it's great practice and great like for reps for when I go to the live felt, because you see so many more hands, you play so many more tournaments, you study so many more spots. So I think it'll only be beneficial for my game. If not, I might pay some tuition here and there, but that's what you have to do if you want to get better.
For sure. No, I know there's some big WSOP series coming to GG. I think the dates maybe not officially announced, but it's kind of cool. You can win a bracelet, right? What are your thoughts about winning a World Series of Poker bracelet online versus live? Do you think there should be an asterisk, or do you think that, it's cool to make it where there's a series each year, that's possible?
Well, it's interesting because in some ways, maybe yes, there's an asterisk for the player pools that are only in Vegas and Pennsylvania. I would say that that's pretty much an asterisk, because like you're only competing with a very limited pools. And, I've gotten I've gotten like final couple tables in those so many times, but I think part of it is just because the player pool. So like there's like 400 and something entries in the tournament, you know. But GG Poker is worldwide, you know. So if you do manage to, with the exception of the United States, obviously, but we all have the option to travel somewhere to play it.
Yeah.
And we have Canada, we have Mexico. So I would say that there's less of an asterisk on the GG Poker one, and I would probably think it's venture to say it's even more difficult to win a GG Poker bracelet than it is a live poker bracelet in Europe or Las Vegas. So I think
Yeah.
it's still prestigious, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with this, and also agreeing with Bruno's line here. It looks like he's going to take a pot control line and get sort of the max. Gets Ike to fire off with 5-4. Generally, a good rule if you have one of the worst hands you could have is to take a stab, and Bruno just sat there and picked it off. So nicely done for Bruno, sitting at almost 3 million. So your horse is in the lead right now, sitting nice, but chips have been consolidating a bit and still no bus out, Johnny. We got 33 grand, almost 34,000 for ninth and 245,000 for first. So a lot to play for. Everyone taking their time. No one's gotten knocked out quite yet. So let's see.
And when you think about Bruno early on had kind of a setup hand and a 3-bet pot, he made top pair versus a set. And for seeing the flop, he definitely lost the minimum. So able to maintain his chip position despite getting a little cooler here early on. So definitely impressed with his play.
Yeah, and the player directly to his left, someone that's definitely capable of being up to no good. So even more impressive. He just found a nice laydown. And here we go. Radoja with the hand rank 1 pocket aces, although it doesn't really look like he is going to be getting a customer. So a little unlucky for him there, but he does chip up a bit, and he is our, I guess we could just call it like there's basically it's like 4 pretty evenly short stacks right now. So sort of separated into a 2-horse race at the moment, 2 different category of horses at least. So let's see how this shapes up. But right now, Victor with a Jack 10 suited off a short stack is going to go ahead and basically commit all in.
Yeah, looks like he got through everyone pretty quickly.
Yeah, so the blinds are up. You can see there in the middle, they do go up to 17,500, 35,000. Arthur with a pair of 8s, gonna get some competition here. And this one, we should likely see 5. We'll see a jam with ace king suited. Pretty nice hand to wake up off that stack. And 8s, I think for that price, I mean, it's just gonna have to go ahead and run 5.
This is a kind of a win-win for you because whoever gets the chips is going to be one of your horses.
Yeah, I guess in a perfect world, I'd have Nicholas stay in and with $1 million. But that's fairly conclusive.
4 of a kind is definitely going to do it.
A lot of emojis getting dropped out there. Guys, people are golfer clap, nice hand, OMG. Either way, I think feels happy, right? Player gets knocked out, pay jump. Great player gets removed from the final table. So we're down to 8, and we are going to keep it rolling. We got Arthur getting a lot stronger, and Bruno and Arthur.
It's funny. It's funny seeing the Elky emoji. I've been seeing him around the halls of the WSOP a lot this year. He obviously is playing every day and stuff, but he looks just like he does in the emoji as he does in person.
Yeah, for sure. No, it's definitely a popular one, and the legend of Elky is always present. He is. It's nice to see him, and he's one of those guys. He's been around forever, right? He was like the original, one of the OGs, did the supernova stuff, and just kind of had some big success, and came in from video game world into poker, and just a great guy. So nice to see the emojis out for him today. And look at this, A7 suited, A6 suited. Could definitely see a jam, could see a flat. I think this is interesting. There is a jam, and this is very close for Simon, and maybe one of the reasons why it is a bet better, right, to take the initial aggressive line, because you do maybe you plug it in. There's a few better hands that you actually get to fold like this that may not call.
I would say there's not too many that are going to fold. We got ace 7, ace 8, and ace 9 maybe. but it just so happened to run into one of those.
Yeah, he
Obviously,
gets
there's going to
rewarded
be.
with his aggression. And
I was just going to say, obviously, there's a lot of worse hands that will open though. So ace-6 suited, can definitely be a jam there.
yeah, and he is going to get a pretty nice spot here when he's got kings, and Arts are going to go ahead and take a spot. And this is actually a ridiculously good situation for Victor, right? Because he has actually got a hand that is going to, for that size, 3-bet fold, and most likely, right? I mean, almost the math is so close that he could consider it, but I think he's still not gonna flick in an extra 300 with that hand. But
yeah, I don't know what the math would say here, especially considering. Oh, so he puts a little click in there. He's making the math even more more torturous for himself.
Wow.
This is really crazy here because you only have to call 140 into a pot of 841. So that's like 7.5 to 1 odds here.
Oh my goodness.
Oh,
yo,
wow.
This is crazy. What a board. I mean, the sick part is is there any way he can get off of this? Is this what's happening? He's going to bet 35. There's 2 aces, not just one,
I don't
which
know.
is almost no way.
Now you have 200 and the pot's about to be 900. So it's like,
wow.
I don't know how you can fold. I think, but this is a real, he's just in, I think if he jams here, I think this is
the crazy part is I think Victor knows that he doesn't have like 4s or 5s or something, right? Because he 3-bet and then he would have just put it in. So like his hand kind of really screams, it's either like Queen Jack suited or Ace X, and most likely the Ace X. So this is kind of amazing that he actually may get away here on the river, Giant. I mean, this is not conventional play. The min click, and then after the flop to be able to go to the river here where they don't get it all in. So this is actually,
if he gets away from this is going to be some Philhelmuthian stuff right here.
He's going to get, wow. And the players just like know where they're at, right? He like knows he has queens or kings based on how the play went, and he's laughing. It's like, I know, this is a crazy hand,
sorry,
honestly.
And then he says, haha. I think he might actually fold.
Me too. This is nuts. Because there's some people in their mind, they just say, when I'm taking that line, I don't care what comes. I'm going to stack off. I'm just trying to get some extra chips. But then actually how this ran out, he may find a way to fold.
If he finds a fold here, that is insane discipline. And a stone cold, just like lock on where he is at in the hand.
You can see the players, even like Ike and some other. Wow. Cheers.
That guy is a sicko.
That's a crazy hand, man. It's a crazy hand. Free lessons out here. All people are taking notes. This is some high level stuff. But also, I want a caveat: don't try this at home, and don't try this at a 1500 WSOP event live. Right? This is a little different skill level and things happening here. So you got to be careful. You can't just watch what you see and apply it any which way. So crazy stuff.
He's pulling off chess moves, and if we try to do that on a checkers board, it's not going to work out.
It's a good analogy. It's exactly right. You got to be careful, but how it stands, he does have some big blinds left. So at least 4 blinds, definitely enough to come back in. And who knows, right? Could be some jumps. Of course, it's not a huge pay jump at the moment, but still, right? You're talking about buy-ins and you're talking about preserving life. And that's what this player has done. You just saw a masterclass on a situation that I don't think many would get away from.
Definitely. And that puts Arter into the chip lead, it looks like. So nice hand for him. Just lucky timing with that ace-6 offsuit. Obviously he's going to fold that some of the time, and the times that he does 3-bet, he ends up getting 7.5 to 1 to make a call pre-flop and spikes it.
Yeah, pretty special hand. So we're down to 8. We did see our 9th place finisher, and we have a couple very short stacks. The blinds did kick up to 35K big blinds. So let's see what's going to happen. And look at Arter, man. He's got the chip lead now, and he's just going with the ace-4 off. putting pressure on. He knows there's short stacks, and he is got a license to go for it. And this guy, Zoo, we saw just call ace queen off. This is interesting. I mean, it's just one of those things where you got to know Archer's opening wide. Yeah, I just can't imagine not seeing a flop. But at the same time, you see Victor. You see Victor so short.
Victor's about to go through the blinds. We have a $12,000 discrepancy between those two positions, 7th and 8th. So I don't actually blame him for folding there.
Yeah.
Chip EV, obviously we're supposed to call and see 3 or even put it in. But these guys know what they're doing. So they understand the pay jumps. They understand where they are in the tournament versus, Victor over there.
Yeah. Wow.
And then now, next hand, Vic, he's about to be forced to put most of his stack into the pot. So I can see Zhao actually folding this one as well once it gets opened in front of him. Yeah, he does.
Yeah, for sure. This is super interesting. Ace-5 suited, kind of one of those mandatory 3-bet spots, but these are 3 of the big stacks here that still have cards in play in this particular hand. So let's see if Bruno takes an aggressive line here or if he just, sits back and plays it coy, but does kind of feel mandatory for the 3-bet. He goes for a big sizing out of position. And Simon kind of with the curious hand here. Does he want to flat? Does he want to put pressure on? Got all options here, Johnny.
Yeah, from what I've seen from these guys, they've been the guys with with chips. They've been taking the lower variance route with the short stacks in play. So it's been a powerful lesson to see Zhao just fold the king queen right there when the cutoff opens. Obviously, any chart that you look at is going to say you should jam the king queen off from the button there. Obviously ICM notwithstanding. So to see the level of how tight these players are willing to play, given their chip position, is very eye-opening for myself.
Yeah, we see Simon now go ahead, and if he's going to play ace queen this way, get 3-bet, just call. Of course, on that flop, can't fold. Now it gets interesting though, because the SPR stack to pot ratio 981,000, 1.6. It's getting kind of dicey, right? Bruno picks up equity, actually. One of the better turn cards where he doesn't actually hit to take the lead, where he gets some continuation. And Simon, for sure, aware of this, that he could still have the best hand. Tough call here, though.
For sure. And interesting turn card. I'm really curious to know if let's say the turn card was an 8 or something where it didn't give him additional equity, if he would have actually continued here. The deuce does seem like a card where he can profitably continue, but especially putting pressure on a shorter stack. I love the way he's an animal. He's just going for it. He's got the chips. He's not letting anyone off the hook easy.
Wow. And
a
look at this.
Great call from Simon. Now, if Bruno goes for it here with almost a 1-to-1 SPR, I just got to give it up to the guy. I mean, you're an animal. When there's like so many possible full houses out here that Simon can hold, I just don't see how you can go for it here. If he does, I'll be insanely impressed.
I mean, the crazy thing is too, like if Simon has 7s or 6s or 8s, even, what do you do? Wow. I mean, this is locomotive, man. And Simon, I'll tell you what, he's definitely capable. I mean, this would be a hell of a call, but you got to think, like, you're blocking queens, you're blocking aces. Sure, you'd have kings. He has 10s this way. Would he have 9s? Would he play with like this exact same way if he flopped the house? Maybe he would with the sizing and go. But from there though, like what is he? It's close, man. I'll tell you.
I mean,
what, it's close. The value of the bluffs is very close.
His current chip stack is worth over $100,000, and if he calls here and is wrong, he's out with $43,000. So it's an insanely tough decision here. Yeah,
and then it's like he knows that he knows that I know, right? It's one of those deals, like the Zoo's short, Victor's short, super short. But I'll tell you what, this is one of the best players in the world. He's not worried about the 10K, 12K page him, but at the same time, you don't want to just like light money on fire, right? Where you're like, wow, like of course he shows over 2 kings or ace nine suited or somehow whatever, right? A better hand, and you're just talking to yourself.
Yep. Yeah.
I don't know. I actually am like dead split on what he's going to do. And though you can tell he is really tanking. He's really thinking this one through. So I think he may end up making the call. Although I think it's super close. It would be a hell of a call. Obviously, it's not easy.
I actually don't see how he can make the call, but I also didn't see how Bruno could just stick it in there. So these guys are operating on an insanely high level. And what I think is going to happen, who knows, you know?
Yeah, I told you it's a dangerous game. Chris Moneymaker, I had Josh Ari on here. But a lot of times we're guessing and we're doing it. We're getting spun through a loop. So if you're at home and you're getting a lot of wrong decisions, don't feel bad. It's not these guys are playing at the highest level and they're definitely doing some different stuff. So this is a fascinating hand though.
Yeah.
Man.
My goodness.
Wow. That's got to be one of the hands of the Super Millions. I've done a lot of final tables just all around. Amazing follow through from Bruno and a better call from Simon, man. What a absolute sick puppy.
Oh my gosh. Someone in the chat says, if he calls, he is a god. A poker god. I agree. Wow.
I'll tell you, he is on that poker god status. That is one of the guys that you know, unanimously, however you want to say it. Yeah, people are saying OMFG. I see you guys in the chat. What's up? I'm with you. That was special. You can clip that. You can put that in your pipe and smoke it. That's a hand, Johnny. That's like that golf shot when you go and you hit like a birdie. It's like gets you back. A hand like that. That's when you tell the grandkids right there. So very well done. Nice hand. Cheers to Simon.
Yeah, he like rockets himself into the favorite now. The most chips, obviously in the zone. We got an all in.
And yeah, Bruno going to find himself in a favorable position, really favorable now, although there are some chops. It chops more than you would think, but let's see a river. Look at this. I'll say this. In all my years playing poker online in particular, but not saying I'm not putting out the conspiracy. When it's like a spot where you're supposed to like your favorite and then it looks like you're going to chop, it's amazing how many times like you don't even chop, right? Like that's like a nasty river, man. The offsuit 6, like that was Bruno. Yeah. When things aren't working, they're not working because that was a big blow to his stack. He is, and to your dinner bet, Johnny. I gotta say, your guy was chip leader, and he's
we're not looking good now. You were excited to take Simon pretty much right off the bat. You were saying he's one of the best players in the world, right?
Yeah.
This is my lack of knowledge of these online players is showing true.
I mean, you know, at the same time, Bruno's definitely he's one of the best players in the world. All Bruno, these guys, I mean,
you can't really fault him for that all in. Like he's obviously playing like a beast. It's just to get looked up there. It just turns the tide. You know, you got out beasted.
Yeah, that was pretty special. Interesting spot. Radoja going to get to check back 7-10 off, goes for the limp and flops some equity here. Let's see if he goes for a bet or slows down. You would think that you'd want to bet when you flop a gut shot 7-10, although it's interesting with Radoja's checkbacks. You know, normally you would say this might hit a check back range, but at the same time, Radoja, he's not going to be messing around so much probably with his stack size with all the trash hands. So let's see if he can snuff it out here or just has to give up for that bet size. So nicely done from Marco again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'd say the only real decision in that snake draft was Ike or Arthur because they had similar stacks. But again, that seat to the left of Bruno, as you said, chips tend to cycle left and you know, Ike's had a couple hands not work out so far, but definitely one of the more experienced and tough players in the game. Can't count him out. He's got plenty of big blinds to make something happen, but a very tough seat for Ike as well.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Oh, this has been fun, man.
So that was honestly one of the cooler hands that I've seen. That was all around very, very, very special, very high level. Marco going to get some kings here. And actually,
It's a good
Gonna be in a
spot for
pretty good
him. I think
spot.
this could definitely be a double with Simon having all the chips. He could definitely put some pressure on him with the 3-bet here.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. With the other short stacks, I mean, just wonder if he's going to 3-bet or even jam.
I mean, I think he's gonna jam, and but I've been wrong so many times before. But I would venture to say he's probably gonna jam here, and we're obviously no, and he calls. Oh my goodness.
It's crazy because the interesting part is if he had 3-bet, not shoved, I think he could be able to. He could figure out if the player 4-bet jams there, right? Like he might just say this player in the spot with these other 3, 4, 5 shorter stacks isn't. But that just shows you, like, yeah, that wasn't on my radar. I didn't think he would call with this hand in this spot with his stack and that stack.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
spidey senses, man.
yeah, definitely. I don't know I think for the sizing, maybe he could continue, and he does.
I don't think he could fold just like how he played his hand to start. But at the same time, he realizes the strength here. If Marco does follow up here with the bet, especially on the 10-6-6 board, I mean, Simon's going to have all the sixes pretty much, right? Where Marco doesn't really have any
Marco's
6X.
Marco's not really loving the way that this board is running out.
What about, I mean, this is where you start wondering, like, how fancy, how creative can Simon get? He realizes that this board's much better, but he does just decide to wave the white flag. And I think Marco actually, in this situation, he's, you could argue going for value. Maybe you're just a little bit scared. You want to take the chips, and he does check back.
Yeah.
Interesting. Look at that though. Simon lost like 60K after the flop. That's it. Could have easily, most of us mere mortals would maybe have doubled up Marco there, but not Mr. Matson. Loses one extra big blind.
Yeah, I mean, that's it's just crazy to think about. Like, if I'm in Simon's seat, first of all, I don't win the hand with ace queen. Second of all, I probably double him up with kings. And this guy is just sitting here with 4.3 million. He's got all the chips, and people wonder, like, is there skill in poker? This guy is dancing around the table right now.
Yeah, he also got the 3-bet inverse for Doja with queen 4 suited in an interesting spot early on. Here we go. Queen 7 off ripping. I mean, like, just, that's not a rocket science play, but like, again, he's just finding ways. If you're at home and you're watching, as Johnnie just mentioned, think about, there's so many spots. It's not about the kings to ace queen suited, for 12 blinds. That's not what poker's about. It's finding the small blind, big blind, finding spots to jam, being creative, and finding ways to win pots that other people aren't going to win, and different ways to play hands. I mean, look at Victor. He's still in the tournament. Got to get value with kings, and then folded off of, like, basically 4 blinds behind when 2 aces flopped. I mean, it's just
he started the hand with less than 16 bigs maybe, and 4-bet, and didn't lose his whole stack. It's just insane.
It's inspiring. It's also scary at some degrees too, right, John? You're like, man, like, these guys really are. Yeah, they're playing a high brand.
Arthur turns a great card for himself. He now has some additional outs. He can obviously hit a spade. He can hit an ace. So I think he's probably going to continue. Pending some sort of, it's a big sizing, but I don't know how you fold this equity here. Simon obviously has a lot more hands than king queen. Simon has some jack tens in his hand, other hands like that.
Yeah, exactly. I think it's just a great candidate to continue when you don't have any of those jacks, tens, kings in your hand, and you actually have the nut flush draw, although the board's paired. And here, it's not a great card if you're Arthur. If you think you might have been winning, you did almost certainly not winning now. So let's see if Simon goes for a value bet, or thank you. I mean, a lot of stuff misses, right? Spades, the clubs. So maybe your opponent could have jack 10. Do you go for some value here? And he does.
Yeah, I think that particular river card, the jack, it's not a good card to bluff catch with ace high.
Yeah. And Radoja kind of realizing he has got 2 shorter stacks. He's also fairly short. Does he want to min raise? Does he want to mess around? He's got to deal with Simon. is a big stack who is in position, and he just decides, you know what, I'm just gonna let these guys do their thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really interesting to see the guys that are the second shortest, the third shortest. It's interesting to see them play their stacks. It's they're on this in this area where they're not playing very much, and the chip leader is playing a ton, and the shortest stack is looking for their spot. So it's crazy how the dynamic of where your chip position dictates how loose or tight you're going to play in this thing. We got Simon opening it up with two broadways, obviously, and then Arthur King Jack off on the button. I mean, if we're talking like chip EVs, a lot of the times this is a call, and then we have Ace Jack suited here. Like, I mean, he has a million chips. He makes the call, but like, you know, some would jam there for sure.
Yeah, I think with the five shorter, really clearly four shorter. You can't. I think that she's sort of cuffed, but this is the problem, right? You're going to go into spots. It's so hard to win pots. Post flop multi-way, especially out of position. So let's see if Archer decides to try to get after it here. Okay, so about half pot.
I like this bet. This board favors probably the big blind and yourself more than Simon. Obviously, Simon's opening a pretty wide range, so I guess Simon will have more board coverage than most opening from that spot. Suited ace and under the gun. If he could see the cards behind him, he could see that this would be a decent spot to open it up.
Yeah. Yes, that is. It is. It's always one of the things I love so much about commentating, but it is kind of hard when you get to see the whole cards up, right? You're sort of biased in the spots, and it's sort of a little bit, you're leaning one which way. So,
but definitely not an easy open there with the guys on his left and his current chip stack. Marco picking up a hand on the button here. Oh, wow. Just jams with all the stacks behind him. I mean, this has to be a call, right? We got pocket jacks.
Wow.
Oh, wow. He folds. So this is just like, I admittedly, I don't study ICM, but I don't really know how you can fold pocket jacks in that situation.
It's crazy. It's crazy because that exact hand has sort of, it makes sense too, because right, like look what the hand he just got to fold. He's probably figures he's getting ace queen to fold. So like he's not, if ace king calls, it's doing okay. If you run into kings or aces, like that's just so rare. And then even a hand like jacks, like queen three suited, right? You still have the over and the flush draw. Some straights could come from the three. Like you're not in like terrible shape. So pretty fascinating shove there though. Yeah. I got the note. I mean, this is like, I'm telling you, this is a treat. It's actually to watch these final tables. It's just, it's fun. And we're going to get to see ace jack suited. Radoja sorts out himself a decent spot here. And
this one
picks up some equity.
Yeah. This one makes sense to me. Obviously both were on the shorter side. So you're mostly tracking your chip EV in these spots when both players are short. But it looks like Victor's finally going to hit the rail here.
Yeah, nice showing. Over 9 million earnings on GGPoker alone, 3 million in the Super Millions format. So congrats to him, a champion of the Super Millions, one of a lot of players' favorite player, fun guy to watch. And he will bow out in 8th place. We're down to 7-handed. Everyone guaranteed 55,000. And Zoo with ace king, going to get himself in a classic flip here.
Yep. Another one where both where the big blind is a shorter stack and just has an automatic decision here. But it's interesting because Marco, by folding the jacks, has already like moved up one pay jump. And if Zhao would have lost this race, he would have moved up 2 pay jumps. So it's in 2 hands, So by folding jacks and surviving in the tournament even longer, you're theoretically making money. But still don't quite understand it.
Yeah, interesting here that Archer doesn't open ace-8 off. Definitely could. Things have changed a bit. There's no super short stacks. He also has to deal with Simon on the button. and Bruno off of that relatively short, like 12, 13 blind stack. So see what Ike goes with here. Decides to min raise. And Bruno with king 7 off, not a super fun hand to be peeling. Of course, as you're shorter, you're incentivized to defend more. So let's see what he goes with. Does just find a way, stays out of a bad situation. Nicely done.
We got Mark Radoja with ace king here. Let's see what's okay. So the big blind, we got just north of 12, just south of 12 big blinds.
Yeah, just decides min raise isn't the move in that spot. Gonna just shove and pick it up. Could induce ace king getting passed around here a bit. Ace jack suited for Simon. This is
and pocket kings as well. So we're gonna see a clash here.
Wow. Well, I guess it'll go, raise, shove, call, and probably fold.
Yeah, that's what's probably going to be here. Then, yep, exactly.
It's interesting if it was a little less, right? And Archer decided to call, although he may not even. I mean, I guess like trying to think, does he really want to be? Yeah, gonna go ahead and click it up a bit. So I was thinking, does he even just call? I don't know. Maybe it makes sense to raise there. Yeah. Okay, so kings, ace, king. We see one ace was gone. Important pot for the field. Important pot for our dinner. And kings.
My guys are getting crushed.
Looking good right now. Got to fade that river. We saw one buried, and that is not it. So just like that, it is out in 7th. Bruno Volkman and Archer having his way.
Yeah, maybe that pocket jacks fold is just turning out to be the most genius fold of all time.
Definitely interesting. Definitely one to look at. I think it's actually, I think it probably the right fold, and based on the situation and whatnot. But again, I'm on your camp, Johnny. It's gonna be hard to fold the Johnnies. I might just say, you know what, let's run it. There's also a future game, right? The future game of doubling there. What that's worth, it's obviously a lot. So yeah, it's tricky.
Definitely.
And when you know he's not shoving aces, kings, or queens. You know, the problem is when he has ace queen, ace king, king queen. Maybe he wouldn't even probably shove ace king though. So you just kind of realize you're doing pretty well there.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean it's definitely a part of the game that I, unfortunately have not made too many MTT final tables. So it's not something that I've practiced terribly often, obviously as a new MTT player. I did get second place in a big tournament recently for 125,000. And I definitely wish I could take some of my decisions back. I played way too fast heads up. I thought I had an edge against my opponent, so I just wanted to play hands fast. Like I wasn't like taking my time with decisions. And like I definitely would take that back and think about my spots a lot more. Because I think by not thinking through decisions, I actually lowered my EV versus playing faster.
Yeah, makes perfect sense. I mean, I think your point is the studying ICM. It's obviously a very important thing. If you're more of a cash game background, though, it takes a while to sort of get in there, and there's a lot of different facets of the game in tournament poker than cash games. So it's definitely cool. I see some familiar faces. What's up, Jamerson in the chat? See you guys saying hello. Appreciate you hitting the thumbs up if you're enjoying. Johnny Vibes joining alongside me today for this final table. About a cool $250,000 up top, just shy of that. So a lot to play for. We're down to 6.
Also saw some of my guys in the chat. Saw Plato Poker. Saw Sam Lee. Thanks for showing up, guys. Appreciate you. I actually saw my wife drop a comment earlier on. Doubt she's hung on this long for a final table, but I saw her when we first went live.
Yeah, that's strong. My wife pops in now and again as well. It's nice, right? They like to see what's going on, check in. It's always good to see. Any females out there, always nice to see as well. And trying to diversify the game, it's definitely male dominant. What are your thoughts on that, John? Do you think there's going to be? Do you pay much attention to it? for your wife, for example, does she play at all? Is she interested in learning more? Or
No,
does she?
she doesn't play. I think once she like started taking an interest in it, it was just kind of, she realized that it was going to be a long road to, first of all, get over the emotional part of the game. I mean, the first
Yeah.
time we played together, she lost and she cried, and she's like, I don't know if I
Okay.
want to go through this, you know.
Right. Well, let's see. Right now, my man Zoo is going through it with the worst of it. King four for value. Is it going to hold up? Has to fade a 10 jack or queen on the river. Going to do it. And just like that, Johnny, it goes quickly. Tournaments, it can happen fast. We are down to 5. Simon got 5 mil. And I can relate to you on my wife. We played a charity event. She had kings. She folded pre-flop. She was scared the person had aces. And I was like, listen, I'm conservative, but I was like, I don't think this is the right path. I think, it's going to be a long road to figure this out. So
Yeah.
let's step away from that. But
It's really interesting how much personality based poker your initial beginnings of poker is. So if you tend to be more like an older brother, more conservative, you might be that'll translate over to your initial poker game. It sounds like that with your wife as well. And my wife, she likes to have fun. So her personality was, I'm just going to call everything. Like I want to see the flop. I remember the first time I was like, whatever you do, don't put all your chips in the middle pre-flop uh, without like a really strong hand like aces. And I leave and I go to the bathroom. I come back and she's all in pre-flop. And I'm like, what are you doing? She's like, I have a good hand. She shows me kings. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like you got it. You got it. The other guy, of course, has aces and she loses. And then she's like,
oh man,
I have like one of the best hands and I can't even win. And she's like, this is the worst game ever.
it's funny how that works. Some of your first experiences, like in tournaments, if you final table or have a big run, or if you like have one of those experiences, it can really sort of shape your sort of belief system within poker. So it's the start of your career is always important. And here we see Ike with the winner at the river, although it's a little bit of a dicey board from 2 nines. Let's see what he goes with. Maybe a block sizing. Could come up with a few different things. And Simon does hit the river, so has some showdown and does just check back. These are two players that definitely have a lot of history with one another. So mutual respect would imagine there. Ike with an important pot, sticking around $1 million. He's been pretty quiet and still very much in the game right now. In third place, actually.
Surprised not to see Ike around the World Series of Poker right now.
It might be something to do with the mask and COVID stuff too. I don't know. Like there was some kind of people getting COVID. I might be. I'm not sure. I know I saw him in Madrid. He was wearing the mask. One of the only players there, and I know he takes it very seriously. So I'm not sure. But also, look, Ike. He's just one of those guys, right? One of the most decorated players ever, and who knows what he's got going. And
True.
Maybe we'll see him for the main event or pop in for the 250 because that's his style. He plays big, and he. Well, I'm sure we'll see him fairly soon at a live stop again. But nice purse if you can stay at home, Johnny, and win 250.
Definitely, yeah. From the comfort of your own home, he's probably got a nice home as well. Probably being weighted on hand and foot while he plays some high stakes poker, trying to reel in $250,000.
Yeah, no, it's definitely. I would bet that is the case. And here we see Tendu suited for Ike getting min raised and gives it up, closing the action. Maybe just realizing his position right now in a good spot, doesn't need to take marginal situations and do that. And look at this. Speaking of
aces versus 10, this is good for me. I got the 3 guys at the top of the screen. You got the 2 guys at the bottom. You're obviously in a commanding position right now, but we got aces, so we have a fighting chance here.
Yeah, this is how it starts, right? It starts with 1. This swings things a little potentially. I mean, still 4-1 favorite, but this is just going to go bam, wham, thank you, ma'am, all in and in a call. 10s to aces, about a 4-1 favor. I mean, listen, we've seen him do some magic here. I don't really see another way. I mean, he's like fist pump shoving 10s.
He also covers his suits, which is nice. The hearts and the spades are covered. And it looks like he's going to need
a little sweat.
He's got a 9 or a 10 on the river to close this one out, and it's paint. So Mark Radoja with the double. Viva Mexico.
Mexico, rocking the flag. Maybe he's living down there. I'm not sure. I know he is Canadian, hailing from there at least, but 1.1 million puts him in a good spot. And that's just another guy that just seems to always kind of find a way. He's always deep, very, very strong player. And that is not what our friend Marco wanted to see. He wanted to see carnage. He wanted to see knockouts. So he is now guaranteed 91,000, but he is the shortest stack with 600,000.
Do you know what the flag is for Marcos Strata?
Good question. I don't actually. It's a good question.
All the tens are out this hand. And we got a flat from ace 10 here. Ike in a nice spot if he can dodge.
Ooh.
It's a pretty tricky one. Obviously, double gutter for Simon. And we got the 10 of hearts in our hand for Ike. I think a lot of times he's going to start with a check here, and he does. Curious what Simon's going to do on this board. Obviously, this board does seem to favor Simon as a calling range. And they both make a straight here. So
yeah,
Simon with the free roll for a higher straight.
Yeah, really wet boards. Super curious on the sizing from Ike here. Does he want to go big? Does he ever check? It goes small. He just decides to blocker bet with the essentially the nuts. I mean, obviously King 10 is currently the nuts. When you have two tens in your hand, though, you feel pretty good.
Yeah, also having the 10 of clubs feels pretty good. And also having the 10 of hearts feels pretty good, you know? So each guy feeling pretty good about their spot right now. I think on this wet board, I would expect to see a raise here.
Yeah, maybe 260, 240. I think it's going to be pretty big. But let's see. Super small, super small. Very interesting. I would think I'm surprised at that. I guess maybe just realizing that where Ike's stack is and the type of hands he has, but it seems like a pretty affordable price, right? If Ike did have
definitely
some sort of combo.
Also, if you're holding two tens in your hand here, as you are with as Ike is, it feels like Simon might be bluffing here, you know? Yeah. But it's hard to really bluff this board, really.
Right. Yeah, it's interesting now that okay, so he's going to kick it up on him, puts it to 352, and you know Simon's thinking, wait, what's going on? Because I have a 10. What exactly do you have? Is there any way you have King 10? And as it turns out, as you said, though, there is a free roll. King would be a win for Simon, so that's a jelly roll, and he just calls. Everything bricks.
I think we're just going to see an all-in from Isaac here and a quick call from Simon. The ultimate brick on the river for, you know, the hearts, the clubs, no board pair. It's just this one's getting in quickly. Quickly once Ike makes his bet, actually. Oh, interesting. Wow. He doesn't go for the all in. Let me just get the call there. I would have expected all in just because of the size of the pot. It was not going to be, it was going to be like a 1/3 pot all in. Instead, he went with the 1, or he went with the 2 ninths, the 1 and the 4.5.
I'm telling you, you want to play a dangerous game. Playing guessing games with these guys, it's dangerous because, like, it's fun. It's dangerous but fun.
Yeah. Interesting spot for Mark, considering he has chips and Marco on his left is the shortest stack. But this time Jax is getting in there.
Mark says, I'll tell you how to play Jax, Marco. You grip it and rip it and go for it. So nice, little different situation, but nonetheless, a pickup for Mark. He's chipping up 1.2 million. And Radosha with a nice hand here in the small blind against Sir Ike Haxton, also known as the Prince of Darkness. He was coined that by Jungle Man. I don't know what if he likes that name or not, but
Ike was crowned that. That's Ike's nickname?
I mean, Jungle Man calls him that. He's just was saying that for a while. The Prince of Darkness. I don't, they play a lot of in cash games and stuff together, and who knows what's going on. Jungle's got his own methods and madness there. So either way, Ace 10 suited is going to hit a nice flop, and not with much to combat here. But let's see what Mark does.
Yeah, this was a limp and a check, right?
Yeah. Pretty big flop stab from Ike.
I think I would expect a call here, but we'll see. I mean, your hand is going to be good so often, and you also have, the flush if in case you are behind. But obviously Ike turns the perfect card here with the 9, but he still does have a fair amount of equity. He has the 2 over cards. He has the diamonds, which do not come in. Ike checking back after turning some showdown value.
Yeah, it's a bit of a frustrating run out. I mean, it's one of those things where, like you said, you have the best hand, and there's not many really bad things that can happen. But that innocuous 9 came in, and now Ike, just going to be probably pretty happy to win this pot.
I think we might see a tiny bet here. Trying to get looked up by a ace high or a deuce or a 3. I would think that this is specifically a bad hand to call with.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not the best to call, and does make a good decision though. Even getting a bit unlucky does not parlay that bad luck with a call in the river that would have been incorrect. So nicely played again from both players. Okay, so Artur gonna flop well. 10-9 suited, very pretty hand. Not a good flop. Move on to the next one. 2 big stacks over 4 million. Other players are looking up to a pretty big ass to come back, but still a lot of play left here. And Mark and Ike for sure. I'm not sure about Marco's full resume personally, but I know that Ike and Mark for sure have been in tougher spots.
Marco's definitely been playing a wait and see kind of game, trying to ladder up and let everyone else kind of go to war against each other. And it's paid off in terms of dollars. He definitely could have been out in 8th place. And here we sit, 5-handed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-handed. Wait, 5-handed. So he's already locked up $91,000 when he could have doubled his money when he could easily had less. So yeah, let's see if that strategy pays off for him. It's definitely going to be hard to win unless he kind of kicks it into high gear. As he currently sits, he's the shortest stack by a lot, by a factor of 2. With the next shortest, we got a clash here. I mean, these guys are the 2 big stacks, and we got kings versus ace king. So I'm not surprised to see the flat on the button here with ace king, just given the stack sizes. This should let Mark in as well.
Wow, not one player has a diamond in their hand.
Not a diamond to be seen. So I'm curious how this is going to be played.
Simon shot clock under 3 minutes, still plenty, but see if that comes into play. And look at this. I mean, this is still. I'm not saying I'm surprised, but I mean, it's just crazy that he actually flats ace king and happens to be dominated there and may not lose much chips here. So
I could see a small bet from Simon here. Goes for the larger bet.
Yeah.
I think he realizes where he's at in the hand. So he's definitely trying to get some value here. And ace king with the call. Now here on the river, I think we have a clear bet. I don't see Arthur checking back top pair on the flop terribly often. I would think most people with top pair on the flop would bet for a small sizing. So we can comfortably think that pocket kings are the best hand here. So I would expect a bet, and he does in fact make around a 1/3 pot bet. uh, River board pairs, it's like the absolute value of your hand doesn't change. So if he was bluff catching on the turn, he might bluff catch here on the river. So, and he actually does.
Yeah, so I like that. Great sizing and great hand from Simon. But also, to Artur's credit, he ended up losing a couple bets there, but he could have definitely, got stacked or even lost a huge pot if he decided to 3-bet the hand. So that was, cheers to him again. Really, really well up.
So we got less than 10 bigs here. I just don't see how you can't jam ace-7 off here from the button, which he in fact does more or less, puts in over half of his stack.
Yeah. Yeah. This is again two big stacks. We see Simon separate into first though, 5.2 million. So he's got the commanding lead of this tournament. Radoja with 1.1 million, 22 big blinds. Mid raise, okay. Okay. Simon with the 7-4 suited. It's got some playability. Also can put some pressure on this exact stack in particular, but both players going to flop a 7 here.
Yeah, the kind of board that's going to be wide open for both players. Board getting definitely scary for both players for their actual holdings. Could see this one checking through again.
Yeah, ace-7 suited. I mean, this is literally like having bottom pair on this board. Yeah. It's not fun, but both players have some showdown value. So let's see if
I think we're going to see a check. Yeah.
Yeah, that was, man, that ace-5 suited ace queen was just such a special hand.
It really was. It was definitely the hand of the tournament. It turned the tides a lot. Obviously, Simon with the commanding chip lead now, and he earned it. It's not like he just like got in big hand versus big hand. He earned it in a couple spots where a lot of players would not have earned it.
Yeah, ace queen was special. And here, 8s against Ike. Let's see what he goes with. Does he want to 3-bet? Call it off? Does he just flat, which seems with his stack and other stacks, I think it's going to go 3-bet and just not fold. But man, Ike with ace queen, kind of again, it's just so high up in your range. You're 5-handed on the button with 20 blinds, and against the chip leader here, who could definitely be up to no good. But that size is so committing. It's not like a 3 like leaves the room for maybe a bluff. So it's going to be curious what Ike does here. There it is. We're going to see it. 5. We're going to see 5. Simon calls it off, gets it in the head. 1.9 million, a lot on the line here.
I'm going to need Ike to spike this one for our lunch bet.
Wow, what a turn card.
He needs what a king, turn card. An 8. No, yeah, he's got a couple cards. An ace as well.
Oh, no, it is. It is.
There we go.
Wow.
Ike with the double. Wow. Okay, so someone in the chat says that Marco's flag is from Liechtenstein. Never been to Liechtenstein. Have you?
I can say that I have not. I do know a good friend of mine's wife is from there though, so I've heard of it. I that was like maybe the only reason I've heard of it, but I don't have much info on it.
I'm like kind of fuzzy on where it is. I'm getting it confused with Luxembourg right now. No, Luxembourg is like kind of in that middle of Europe region. But I'm not sure where Liechtenstein is.
Yeah, it's very small from what I remember. I think it's really is I just don't know enough about it. I can't say. It's a cool name. Cool name. It's a cool looking flag as well. So good luck to Marco hanging in with some of the titans of the game. 5-handed on the short stack, hovering around that 6-figure pay jump where, 6 figures for fourth, 116. Decent size pay jump as well. So a lot to play for. Nice bluff from Simon. Still has 4.4 million. Oh, some pretty hands here.
Yeah, we got this. I opened it up earlier with the ace 3 suited under the gun. So I'm not surprised to see him open it up here with the ace 4 suited. Simon with a lot of chips with the king 9 suited. This is definitely unfamiliar territory for myself. He likes the 3-bet, and then Marco, obviously the shortest stack here. No more time to wait. It's got to stick this one in. It's going to be such a great spot for him because Simon's going to be priced in here. And yeah, I expect to get the double from Marco here. So tides could be turning.
Well, he is going to have a decent chance for doubling, but we know that's not how poker works, Johnny. There is 5 cards to come. There's spades, there's straights, there's nines, there's things. Oh, but ace king suited looks very powerful.
And there's the 9
until the flop.
And the spade.
More
so
of
this
spades.
takes away some outs for him. Gonna need a non-spade. And okay, well, so spoke too soon.
Yep, that is 4 left. And again, another thing I want to point out in poker, Johnny, this is why you see these guys playing post flop, blind on blind, fighting for pots, picking up spots. It's like when you get an ace king to king 9 suited, it's a tough beat, right? But there's so many. What about folding jacks? What about doing other things, right? He laddered. He had a strategy. Congrats to him on the score for 91K. But generally in poker, it's not your last hand is what you're looking at.
I totally agree, man. And so many people actually put so much emphasis on the last hand, and I think it's important to. You can do this with online play because all of your hands are tracked, or you can just record your screen so that you can watch it back later, go through it, and you can look at all the spots where maybe you lost some chips here that you didn't need to. Maybe you could have went for a spot here that you didn't go for. Or maybe, like you're talking about with the jacks, maybe you could have stuck it in with the jacks. And I think that comes with like a really high level of self-awareness and responsibility to go through your game and your hands with a fine-tooth comb and see where you could have maybe worked in some chips before you got in the ace king versus the king 9.
Yep. Yeah, here Simon 4-handed kings versus ace 9 off and ace 8 off in the small blind. Let's see if he goes for the 3-bet here. Does go for it. He's picking on Mike right now.
He's been relentless. I would expect an all-in, but well, actually not an all-in because he has quite a few chips. So I would expect a click here for sure. Yeah. I'm getting a good price here, but with a hand that doesn't really play very well post-flop.
Yeah, that was similar to ace 6 off to kings. A little different there. And Radoja dropping the Scarface.
I do like those gifts. I didn't. So I haven't played on GG in probably 6 months while I've been setting up my residency, which by the way, I have a condo in Cabo now. So looking forward to spending more time in Mexico, more time in Cabo specifically. I love it down there. My wife and I love it down there. Mostly it's going to be an Airbnb property, but when GG is having a series or there's like a World Series of Poker bracelet up for grab, definitely going to block off those dates and go stay down there. So yeah, looking forward to just testing out some of these new features like these animated GIFs and, the Scarface and the Elky emojis and all that stuff. It's fun time. There was something where you could talk to people as well. And I don't know if people probably don't use that much anymore, especially at this level, but I've used it in the past. Did they take that away?
There's a thing where you can basically show your screen, right? You can like talk or do so. I think they do have that where you can like do a quick little video on there. So yeah, it's pretty.
I did that a couple times. Some people were asking like, is this the real Johnny vibes? And then I would just like record my voice and be like, yeah, this is him. Like check my story on Instagram if you don't believe me.
Yeah, no, it's amazing technology. It's very, very cool. Some of the functionality and where the game is going. And look at this, River, Simon, all working for him. He's got the queen 10 and he's going to go for a very small bets. And Arthur, a little bit frustrating, getting some premium hands and second best. I mean, same thing. He does beat some things, but in terms of thinking about what is he calling, what is he beating as a bluff, and he just ultimately says, you know what, I'm a little too high up in the range, calls with ace queen, and Simon chips going that way. 5 mil, up to 5 mil.
Yeah,
Very strong.
Colin Capone in the chat is saying that that feature is called the Snap Cam and that they still have
Snap
it.
cam. Yes.
So I will. That's something that I'll definitely be using. I'm telling you, man. Like I'm a recreational MTT tournament, especially online player. So things like Snap
You
Cam and
can't say
emojis.
that. Don't say you're a wreck. You're not a wreck, Johnny. That's
Well,
like
here's the
don't
thing: is
say.
that like it's not my primary source of income is live, live and online cash games. So when we're playing MTTs, my goal is to win, of course, and I study a ton, but it's not my primary living playing online MTTs. So I definitely love like, the snap cam and the emojis and things like that. I'm having a good time when I'm playing online. Sure, I'm studying as well, but I'm having a good time. It's not all work for me.
All right, that's fair. Wreck is a stretch, but look at this threes with the little pro A6 suited, gonna put him basically out the door. But Jack Nine suited's got a powerful draw here on a 4-card rainbow, drawing to the best draw and over to the board. Let's see if Archer goes for it, put some pressure on it. He does go with a re-raise, and Simon,
Yeah, I do like that Arthur is going for it. He's not just playing his chip position and letting Simon get away with everything. He's actually, has a draw, goes for it despite there being short stacks. So not afraid to battle, obviously knows what he's doing. So I expect some battling between Arthur and Simon going forwards.
Yeah, very, very, very strong players here. So who's going to get the title? This is, money's great. It's nice to get a GG Super Millions title. This is season 2, episode 46. So we've had a lot of champions, a lot of multi-winners, and this is definitely a few of these boys have some trophies. I don't know if we want to pull up the list. I want to say Archer's won 2 or 3 in this, and I'm not sure on season 2, but he is definitely one of strong. Can you see that, Johnny? I know there's some. It's a little bit. We did get sense. I just know these guys. You could see the amount in Super Millions winnings. It's crazy. Some of these guys have won 8, 9, 10 million in this series alone.
Yeah.
And Ike Haxton with an interesting spot here.
Yeah. Okay. So I see S1 and S2. So there's been 2 seasons.
Yep. Oh, we're gonna see a big pot here. 2 million up for grabs. We could be 3-handed. Ace Jack, 6s, Jack on the flop. Some hearts out there though. Radoja, I'm his good luck charm. I don't know. Can he stay in?
Needs the heart on the river or the
It
6.
looks like a brick.
Oh, he makes a full house. Oh, okay, but it doesn't matter. He has Jack.
Oh, wow. You're right. I saw that too. I was like, wait, that was dirty. But 3. All right, we're down to 3. Guaranteed 149. Congrats to Mark. 116K going his way.
And fairly like well dispersed chips, so nothing that's like going to be a cakewalk for anyone. And 3-handed poker, like I'm actually really excited about this because obviously big hand versus big hand gets all the glory, but I really love seeing players navigate these 3-handed with chips, because you're not going to get good hands all the time. So seeing how people play their Jack 3 suiteds from the small blind and stuff. So this is exciting for me to watch.
Yeah, no, it's definitely fun. It's definitely, as you said, it's also it's such a high level though. These guys know each other so well. It's just fun to see how they know that these guys definitely know GTO poker. How do they then take the exploitative side of it and interact with different situations with players who they know also are very, very versed in GTO. So this is a treat. 3 of the game's best. We are going to play to a winner today.
Mm-hmm. So I'm looking at season 2 rankings, and it says that Arthur is number 1 ranked in the GG Millions. Is that's what I'm reading, I believe, which is, he's good, I guess.
He can do it. He for sure can do it. He's definitely had some wins, and he has had a lot of success, and definitely a favorite as well. I know I've seen him at a lot of live stops over in Cyprus and Madrid, different areas. He is.
I'm looking at his GG winnings, and it's $25.5 million. That is absurd.
It's absurd. It's really absurd.
Wow. Yeah, pretty impressive stuff.
look at Ike here. Neither player has a heart. Ike sticks in there with the ace-5, and he's got a winner if he can hold on here. Simon just says, you know, some showdown value. I'm going to go ahead and take it. Not quite enough. Ike chips up to 3.2 million. So, you know, you're not out of this, Johnny, yet. You got Ike. It's definitely a guy. If you're going to have a guy in third place, he's got a real shot. I mean, he's in the mix for
Definitely.
it.
I saw Adamo the other day walking down the strip. It's just like, he's another one of those guys where you just are like in awe. I don't know, like there's a mystique about them, kind of the same way that I felt about Victor Blum, you know, back when we were coming up, and the way that people feel about Phil Ivey when you see them in person, you're just like, oh, that guy's a poker god. So it was my first time seeing him in person, and yeah, definitely, I still get like kind of fanboyish about a couple people, and he's one of those guys.
Well, I mean, he's playing quite a brand, right? He's really overbetting and just putting it's like when you can take the best players in the world and you're putting them in the cage on a constant basis, right? You know, like you're doing something pretty special, right? He just seems to have all the right moves, all the right times. And I agree. Adamo's been on an absolute tear, and all these guys are also on respective absolute tears. And someone's going to have to give, Johnny. Someone's going to win. No deals available. 149 guaranteed. About $100K jump between first and third. It's a lot of buy-ins for the Super Millions. It's a rebuy tournament. You can rebuy, so it comes in handy. These spots add up. It's important to close out when you can. But yeah, again, these players very familiar with one another.
We got Simon with the best hand here after it looked like he defended a button raise. He's checking, which I think is perfectly fine. 4 card straight comes on the board. Yeah, I mean, this would be a tough one to bluff. I guess if you're bluffing, you're trying to fold out. Oh, that's full pot. So now he's trying to fold out, obviously, smaller pairs, any sort of deuce, possibly an 8. And specifically King 9, I'm not sure if it's going to fold. He does fold. So he folds out the King 9 as well. So well done, Arthur.
Yeah, nice hand. Look at this. 3 suited, different.
3 pretty hands here.
Yeah, very pretty hands. So it starts out with the min raise. Simon, for sure, ace queen suited is going to want to take the price up. Maybe goes to like 600-ish, I guess. How does he have to go 3.5, 4x here? I guess they're fairly deep. So yeah, it goes 560. Archer would have liked to play, not for that price. And Ike, one of those hands that, you know, this is a big sizing, but this hand is so pretty. Jack queen suited in position, deep stacked.
Yeah. I think. Oh, he goes
Wow. Whoa.
And then we get a call.
Johnny, these guys might have dinner dates tonight. I mean, Jack queen suited is off to the races, and you could be speaking of dinner.
Can we go running clubs?
No, that's not honestly, I like Ike, but not going to happen. It's not a club. No. Is it? No, it's a 9. Oh, I thought it could have been a thing. And just like that, good game. Simon with the nice call, ace queen suited. Ike, great player, great result, 150K. We're going to be heads up, and Johnny, we're going. I'm not.
You know, I think we might have to do dinner in Europe, because I'm actually coming to Europe after the WSOP. Depends on where you're going to be, but we were planning on doing the Algarve coast and just kind of winging it from there. So I don't know what your plans are, but maybe we can meet up.
Yeah. All right. That sounds good. A European double date. That sounds, it sounds expensive. Let's, we'll do it.
I already know it sounds expensive.
I love it. All right. Well, that bet is over. The chat had a free roll today. Their player did not win. We appreciate you guys watching. Please hit the thumbs up if you're having fun, if you're enjoying it. It means a lot. It also helps a lot with the algorithms on YouTube. So thank you guys for being here. We appreciate you. And I appreciate Johnny, again, for being here, taking time away from the World Series of Poker to call the action. And, you know, good luck, man. I hope you get your bracelet out there. I know it's fun. It's nice to take a break, right? Sometimes it's
Yeah,
such
for
a
sure.
intensive time. It's hard, it's easy to just get in the daily motion and play every day. It's sometimes good to step back, take a moment, and then regroup.
Yeah, I've
So,
been here for 18 days and I've played a tournament every single day, with the exception of
wow.
a couple day twos where I had a day off. But I've also been making Instagram content every day. So I, have not been doing much other than playing poker, and I'm happy to be winning. I think we've cashed 5 of the 8 WSOP 8 to 10 tournaments I've played, showing a
Nice.
$25,000 profit so far. A couple deep runs. I got a 30th, a 31st place. All no limit hold'em events. I don't know any of the other games, so just strictly sticking to the big field. 1.5K buy-in, 3K buy-in, even smaller buy-ins than that. So yeah, showing a profit, feeling very happy with how things have been going.
Very nice. Listen, that's being profitable in tournaments is it's a nice thing to be, right? It definitely can go a bunch of different ways. You get ahead of the curve. It's a good start. So very nice. And look at this hand here. We got 2 pair versus a gut shot, double gut shot with the pair, and 7-9 is going to be the winning hand if he can get the showdown. And a little bit of a dicey board. It's hard to have 2 pair heads up, but let's see if he's going to check back or go for value. I mean, 2 pair heads up, I think it's just one of those things. Does he try to go for the win here, or does he does. He just says, you know what? Maybe my opponent hits the queen 10. Maybe my opponent hits queen king. Let me go for that full tax.
It does figure to be a card that would improve the other player. So keen sense to realize that his 2 pair is good here and that he's going for value here.
Yeah. And Archer actually has you can see it doesn't snap fold, although it's going to be a pretty ambitious call. He does have, he has a key card in some respects. He's got an 8, he's got a 9 for a pair. Does his opponent have some just savage like ace-6 club bluffs, ace-10 of club bluffs or whatever, 10x bluffs?
Yeah. It's an interesting sizing though, because you would think for this sizing that your opponent is pretty nutted. And not to say that 7-9 isn't nutted, it's bottom 2 pair, but it's like I would say it's a little bit lower on value, generally speaking, for this polarized sizing. So he might talk himself into it being more polar than it actually is.
Well, ultimately makes a good fold. They had a tough decision. We see 7s to king 4 suited. It's always fun heads up to see the different stack sizes and what players do. They start to limp sometimes at different various depths, and then we see different strategies from different players. And here, those 7s just decides he's got a good enough hand to kick it up and go for it. Picks it up. Simon separating himself up to 9 million chips.
Yeah, some people in the chat were saying that the queen jack might be a punt there. I don't think so. These guys are just so good that when you have 2 suited broadways, you have to go to war with it sometimes. And obviously, Ike with card removal thought that he could get some folds there, and if he doesn't get the folds, usually a decent hand to see all 5 with. So I definitely wouldn't call that a punt. I just would say he went for it and it didn't work out.
Yeah. I'm just not comfortable saying Ike's punting these days, because
I would never say that.
I wouldn't either. It just says whatever he's doing, I'm gonna have to stick with it. I think and then again, that hand, he took a stand and kind of ran into top of range, and still it's not like he's dead by any means. Still could have easily taken that hand down. But here, 8-5 off, 7-10 off. It's gonna go and be betting into a straight, which won't work.
Yeah.
And a little raise.
Simon's not afraid to go for a little extra value, as we saw with the 7-9 earlier for that big sizing. Obviously, there's a flush on the board there, and he's still going for a little bit of extra value.
Yeah, that is definitely
8-9 specifically. I like a C bet here because you got 3 across. You got some cards that you can turn to keep barreling. Obviously, this board is just going to be so not coordinated that your opponent isn't going to hit it very often. But Simon coming with the check raise here with the 5-4, he's got 3 across as well, and he says, "Let's go for it."
Wow. Yeah, not afraid. That is for sure things that we can say. 10-3 offsuit. Does go for a limp. I like this. This is kind of on this stack size. He's just sort of saying, oh, I'm going to limp my best and absolute worst hands. And, here he is post flop. He decides to check back those. This is, I think, something you see a lot of players just say, I have nothing. Let me put a stab out. But he decides not to bet on the flop. Maybe has some other ways he can win it on the turn as well. Like this goes for a bet. And King Deuce, curious if he decides to call, does not. So nicely executed hand from Simon. Find a creative way to win, not necessarily having to just c bet 100% on the flop.
Definitely. Where does so that 15K ante in the middle, does that come from both players or does that come from the big blind? Do you know?
So I think it is from both players what it looks like, because it's not, because the big blind ante is usually, I think, matching, right? If it's like they put the big blind plus the same amount there. So since it's not matched up, I believe it is coming from each player. It's a good question though. I'm not positive.
Because it changes how often people are going to be limping and raising from the button. Obviously, if it's a big blind ante, you're incentivized to basically never fold the button. And we're not really seeing any folds even with 10-3. So I would assume that the math probably works similarly with that ante out there. Arthur with a pair, but he gets outturned. Simon not only playing well, seems to be running pretty well in this heads up match.
Yeah, it's just the sizings are so impressive. They're just they just really seem to know where they're at and how to max tax and what they're trying to accomplish. And look at this, 8-4 gets a big bet on the turn. Really has Arthur whittled down here to next to crumbs, 10-1 chip lead.
Yeah, looks like he's got about 18 bigs. And finds a nice hand here on the button with the ace-9 suited. Oh, wow. Nice little trap.
Yeah, trapping, but 3-4 suited has been winning so many pots. Not this unless he can find a deuce. Got a gut shot, one card to come. That would be quite a way to finish us off here, but let's see.
Oh, I thought it was the deuce.
Hey, it looked deucey. It did look loosey-goosey, but it's going to continue. 9-2, not over yet.
Nice little trap there by limping the button with the ace-9 suited.
Yeah. It's interesting. We saw him check back ace-jack off in a similar spot, like where it was like, or not, I'm not similar, but I'm saying just like, it just shows you these guys, they have their reasons and their ways and their hand spots that they're taking, right? Like sometimes you're like, wow, I wouldn't expect him to shove 4-3 there for the limp, but he did.
Yeah, and I know some of these guys are actually randomizing as well. So could have been it could have been something where his random number generator dictated that he's gonna do that one time, which is why it's like impossible to get like reads on some of their pre-flop and post-flop plays. And even when we see the cards, like we see that he has 4-3 suited, we don't know if he's going to jam it. We don't know if he's going to check his option. We don't know if he's going to maybe put in a 3x raise or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. It's true. It's advanced times right now in the game, and it's scary, right? These guys too, they're still exactly. They're randomizing, they're keeping you guessing, they're on your toes, and very, very world-class players that fun to watch for sure.
Yeah, and he comes with a call there with the king-9 suited. I could see that one being a 3-bet jam as well. Arthur obviously was in the lead pre-flop, obviously flops a deuce here.
Yeah, a lot going on. Backdoors wrapped around that 10-8. So he does call and does pick up a equity of a 9 on the turn, jumps into the lead. And if you're Archer, you get called in the flop. This isn't one of your best cards to come out. So he is going to slow down, and king-9 has to feel good when it gets checked to. But the same token on the river now, see a 4-liner, and Arthur probably realizing doesn't really have the best hand almost ever here as played.
Yeah, it's pretty bad run out for a hand that called you on the flop.
Yeah, Probably
Finds a
go limp
pair
here.
here. Yeah.
Doesn't limp. I'm a little surprised he's raising this computer hand. The queen seven off. That's a dead middling hand if you're playing heads up poker, and is gonna get away from the min raise and re-raise. And here, 2 10s, king three off. Wow,
Ooh,
this is
bit of a cold deck here. Top pair versus bottom set. Not terribly deep, but I could see Simon not getting all of his chips in the middle here. Got 460 in the middle, 1.7 behind. So we got about four. Oh, he goes with the full pot here. Really difficult to fold top pair on this board texture. So many like queen jacks, you know, hands that contain a queen in them, hands that contain hearts in them that you are beating with king three offsuit here. And then an ultimate brick on the river. We have a 1-to-1 SPR for Arthur. It's going to be a hero spot call for Simon. I don't know if he's going to make the call, but it's tough not to with top pair here.
yeah. I don't see how he doesn't call as played. At the same time, he doesn't have. He doesn't have heart in his hand. Like he's got top pair. It's such a bad kicker, but it's just tricky, right? Like this is the ones where if you find a way to fold and you're right, it's just so wild, right? It's like such a wildly wild. And his time bank is out.
Hey, yeah, he's down to 5 seconds here, so he's got to make a decision quickly. Wow, sick fold, sick fold.
Golfer clap again.
Bravo.
Bravo is right. And he has no time bank now. So see if that comes into play a bit. I mean, he's got a 4-to-1 lead, right? At 8.6. So he's almost that. See if the time can become a factor or not, but currently in good position.
I feel like it has to become a factor. You gotta have to make some really quick decisions here. No time for your randomizer.
That's actually valid. That is a valid point. All right, we see deuces go for the limp. 9-7 off, going to raise. Let's see if he just stuffs it here.
I would imagine that he's going to stuff it here. Yeah, and he does. We have 2 seconds. So how much time do they get prior to the time bank? Probably at least 8 seconds or so.
I believe they have 5 seconds each street, to act before it activates. So.
Okay. We got top 2 pair for Arthur here. Arthur, bit of a momentum swing here. Gets that limp jam in with pocket deuces. Now flops 2 pair in a pot where he's out of position. He's gonna give Simon some rope here by just calling. Obviously, a very dry board texture, so he's not really worried about too many runouts. Goes for the lead on the river. Turning into a bit of a battle here. Let's see, we got what's a big blind is count the number of big blinds.
Yeah, there's still some play here for sure. I mean, there's a lot of chips in play. I mean, this did go fairly fast, like we said. It's hard to anticipate exactly. Generally, heads up matches, these guys play. They play quick, but if it's deep enough, it can still take a while. And of course, there's still real money on the line. This is a big jump between first and second. And of course, that elusive title to get a Super Millions title. It's a best tournament on the net, no doubt about it, weekly. So this is one everyone likes to add to their resume.
It's really cool that it runs weekly. But judging by the final table play, I got some work to do if I want to start firing bullets in this thing.
You and me both. I am week in, week out, just really impressed with this ability.
You've been streaming a lot lately, or you've been more focusing on GG stuff?
It's doing the weekly Super Millions and podcast as well.
Okay.
That's been a big focus, and a couple other content projects that work. Actually, that's one of the main reasons I flew to Vegas to the GG announcement and have some meetings there. So yeah, I'm excited. It's a very exciting time for live poker and just poker in general right now. I think it's a unique time in the space. So
It's really
yeah, I'm
cool to
excited.
see. Yeah, it's really cool to see people like you who've been around the game for a long time get these opportunities. We've spent our whole life, our whole professional lives in poker, uh, creating content, podcasts, playing the game. I saw you in Premier League and all these other things, and to see that pay off with getting opportunities with GG and all these other things, that it's really cool to see. I'm glad that they're giving people like you opportunities. Someone who's been a grizzled vet of the game and been around for a long time. Definitely happy to see it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Definitely. No, it is exciting times, and we might see an exciting all in. This could easily be all in and call for the title here. We see just the call. So it doesn't go all in, wants to see a turn and decides what's going to go from there. And let's see now, SPR less than 1 for Archer. So
I
very
wonder if he's
curious
going
what
to
he
take
comes
his
with.
equity. Yeah, I'm curious if he's going to take his equity here, if he's going to go for it. I think after getting called on the flop, it's a tough proposition to get this one through, but we'll see. Doesn't have much time to make a decision, so I could see him calling quickly here.
Yeah, he does make the call. And the last second there, you can see for the title, he's an 81% favorite. And it is a brick. It did look like it completed the straight, but it didn't. And GG, very, very well done. That definite hand of the day. 245,000 going over to Simon for the win. Simon Matson, what an absolute masterclass. Artur Isaac, Mark Radoja, Bruno, Victor, Nicholas Ostat, just the absolute who's who of poker today, Johnny. This has been a treat. I think that ace queen definitely was the standout hand, no doubt of the day.
Yeah,
and it's good to see him take the tournament down.
We have to go back to the ace queen hand. I mean, that was the tipping point of the tournament when he was faced with a decision for all of his chips. When he had a nice chip stack, he could have easily folded and maintained like a third position in the tournament. He was put to the test and by Bruno, and he ended up making a hero call with ace high for all the chips, putting him in a commanding position, was able to ride that momentum, was in a ton of pots, zigging and zagging at the right time, and he closed it out. It's just, everybody talks about ICM and how you should ladder up. Simon said, forget that. We're going for it. We're going for the win. And it paid off for him with about $250,000 in cash.
Absolutely. It was a super, super special event today. So season 2, episode 46. I will be seeing you guys same place, same time next week. I do want to also point out on Thursday on Reddit at 1900 UT time, I will be doing a Reddit Ask Me Anything. So you guys, please mark that down. I'll see you for that. And then Johnny, man, cheers. Thank you so much for coming. I know you're, again, World Series grind. So I know this, I appreciate you taking the time. And again, best of luck to you, man. I always watch your stuff. Always watch you on the stories, the Instagram, and I follow along on your stuff and give him a follow on YouTube. Check out all Johnny's content, guys. It's a treat if you love poker. So appreciate you, man. And I hope we can collaborate soon and we'll have dinner for sure at no time after all.
For sure. I really appreciate it. I loved it. And definitely we'll be reconvening in Europe at a marginally expensive dinner.
I love it. So, all right, guys, thanks so much for watching. Again, Jeff Gross alongside the man, the myth, Johnny Vibes. We'll see you next week. Same place, same time. Super Millions. We're out.